So hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So we got this clip from Fox News commenting on the COVID-19 pandemic and the United States response compared to other countries and how they were able to respond to the pandemic and how they be able to resolve this huge problem of a health crisis that is currently attacking the whole country right now and the whole world. But countries like North Korea and China has been able to maintain the virus from spreading, or being able to stop it from getting new cases. But how were they? What was the difference between them and the United States right now, who's currently at top number one in cases? I think we have about 250,000 cases probably. Let me see. COVID-19. I think 250,000 cases, and I think Italy's at. See, worldwide we have 965,000 cases, and the United States alone has 225,000 out of those cases, almost 226,000, and then it's followed by Italy at 115. In which out of 10, which is out of which those 225,000, 10,000 has recovered here in the United States, and we have a total of 5,311 people who have died because of the virus. But then Fox News comes in and says, you know what, the reason why South Korea and China were able to control the disease so fast is because they're not a free country like the United States. So the reason why we find ourselves in a position where hospitals don't have enough equipment, they don't. Our healthcare respondents don't have enough clothing, gloves, and mouth covers to protect themselves from the virus. We don't have those things right now because the United States is free. We're free in the United States, therefore we are fucking up on the way we respond to this COVID-19 pandemic. We're so free that we're stupid enough to fuck up and everything. It doesn't make any fucking sense. I don't know what the fuck they're saying when it is a free country. Let's just watch the clip and not just me talking about this DS.
When he says the best model we have for America is what's happened in Italy.
Well, I think that if you look at these other countries, if you look at China and South Korea, right, though they had very different approaches. We're a free country. We're giving recommendations to the American people and hoping that they're going to adhere to those. In terms of what happened in Italy, the strain on the healthcare system, those are the things, the lessons that we are trying to learn from. We're trying to prepare our healthcare system. Some of the recent regulations that we pulled back from just earlier this week are going to have a really big impact on our healthcare system. It's giving them that flexibility at the local level.
What is the vice president referring to when he says...
So there you guys have it. We got Stephen Verna suggesting that the one reason why South Korea has been so effective on the response of the coronavirus is because it is in a free country like the United States. Meaning that, oh yeah, we got all this like healthcare organizations and healthcare professionals telling us that we should treat this virus very seriously and that we should have prepared for it, and that we should do things that would help that would help us save lives from people getting the COVID-19 disease and stuff like that. But what we're doing is that we're just, these organizations are giving us recommendations of what we should do to prevent this shit from happening. And guess what we're doing? Since we're a free country, we can do whatever the fuck we want. So people are going to follow these recommendations. So some of them would not follow it. And most of us won't do nothing about it. Just like the United States did. This is what Donald Trump literally didn't do shit. They didn't do anything. he called it a hoax. Most of the Republicans called it a hoax when they were telling them, look, we have to treat this shit seriously. It's a big deal. You should guys start preparing if something were to happen here in the United States. And it's like, nah, we should not prepare. We got everything under control. This is not going to happen in the United States. And here we are. More than 225,000 cases. 225,000 cases. More than 5,000 people dead. We're number one on top of cases. Italy, just obviously we've been talking about Italy for a few weeks now. People dying. The death toll is about 900 people. 900 more than 1,000 people a day dying. And this is what we want from the United States? People are telling, oh, we're not a free country. Those countries are not free. Therefore, that's why they were able to control their pandemic. Look, I'm going to show you a clip. Also Fox News, talking to a doctor that one of the doctors that Bernie Sanders brought in to talk about the pandemic in one of his social media live streams that he'd had for everyone to get informed about the pandemic. This is what he said during the Fox Live for his first Fox interview about the COVID-19 pandemic and how the United States responded to that.
Large-scale testing. Now, what we hear every night is that there are millions of tests available, and yet we don't have that pinprick blood test that you can just sort of get, at your local doctor and know in 15 minutes. But they're working on it.
Yeah, they're working on it. They should have been working on it for months. So the fact is, we knew about this from the WHO when? December 31st, 2019. So last year, we knew about this. We knew coronavirus is coming. We knew it was a respiratory disease. We knew it was person to person. Why is it that it's this week that the FDA finally approved these kind of new Abbott lab testing, which, by the way, is one test at a time? It's a great test, but it's one test at a time. It's different than the labs that are doing mass testing, right? So this is a wonderful test. Don't get me wrong, but it's one test per 15 minutes. That's wonderful, but it's not the same volume that you really need. This is better for kind of outpatient clinics and things like that. We needed this months ago. You look at Korea, South Korea and the U.S. had their first official confirmed case on the same date, January 19th. That means since January 19th, you look at what South Korea did and what we did. Their population is 1/6 of ours. Look at the cases they have. Look at the mortality they have. It's a trifle compared to what we're dealing with right now because we've had a very weak response and they had a really strong response.
Doctor, thank you. Very interesting to talk to you, Dr. Desai. Hope you'll come back as we move through this difficult period in the country. Dr. Desai, thank you very much, sir. So President Trump warning America.
You saw what happened, right? Immediately when he told them the truth about how unprepared the United States was to defend themselves against this COVID-19 pandemic, they immediately say, oh, thank you, doctor, for telling us the truth. Now fuck off. That's not what we wanted to hear. We wanted to hear, oh, yeah, the United States was so prepared. They were so organized, and their response to the COVID-19 has been tremendous. That's what they wanted to hear. So they could cover Donald Trump's ass. When there's multiple sources of media, videos, quotes from Republicans, and also the United States president saying that the COVID-19 was a hoax at the beginning, and how later, once it started getting a little bit serious, and once the COVID-19 disease was spreading all over Europe, he said, you know what, the United States is prepared. We got this over the control. We're gonna have zero people. And obviously, then numbers start coming in, people being infected here in the United States. He says, they're minuscule numbers. We got this over control. The United States is great. We have a lot of tests, data. If we find out that we have no tests, there's still right now, until this point, there's no test available for everyone. People, you saw the interview recently in my last video where Joe Biden said, yeah, there's plenty of tests. And then the woman's like, yeah, there's no test. And they're not free. It's like, sometimes I believe like I can believe that there's so many incompetent and so stupid people ahead of our fucking nations. So fucking many stupid people, man. Especially here in the United States. We got these old motherfuckers who are like almost outside the door, down, almost dead. A couple years more, and I'm sure they're gonna be crippling down in the fucking beds. Not offense to most of you people who happen to be older and happen to be in the same situation. It's just these people don't like they have future generations. They have people that could die, and this is the response they get. This is the answers they get. They put their lives on the line. We have just recently, a couple of days ago, we have fucking people from some religious folks, and also some people from the private sector telling you know what, we should go back to work. During a huge pandemic crisis of this disease spreading like fucking fire, and then people's like, you know what, we should go back to work. You can't afford our economy to go down because of this pandemic. We should push people to go back to work. So what? So they go. So people, if you push people to go back to work, people are not gonna go back. They're gonna be afraid of getting the disease. We're gonna find ourselves in the same situation, and those people who get sick are gonna spread the disease even more. Right now, all of you, I'm sure they don't like the fact that we have to stay at home for a couple of weeks, and I think it's gonna be more months. But imagine if we spread out all this bullshit. It's not gonna be just months. It's gonna be probably the whole entire year, even more going to 2020, to 2021. I mean, why? Because we don't want to fucking follow. She said it in that first video. Oh, we are free and we could do it whatever we want. Some people want to follow the recommendations. Some others don't. So that's why we find ourselves in this situation, because we're stupid. South Korea was like, you guys need to quarantine, get the fuck out of the fucking streets. And all of you in the healthcare industry, we're going to give you all the fucking help you need. And you saw right in that second clip that I put you guys, where the doctor said they have massive laboratories test with a bunch of people analyzing the tests that they have done, right? Of those tests they got them from people that presumably might be infected. They're running 24/7, more than one test at a time. Bunch of they're like recently just the FDA approved that method of testing the thing in 50 minutes and knowing the outcome of the results of one test in 50 minutes. Until now we have it in the United States. And South Korea, they had it since the beginning. They have massive tests, multiple tests done in a matter of minutes, testing really fast, finding out and getting rid of the problem, trying to find solutions towards the problem. Because they didn't joke about it. They just went immediately and attacked the motherfucking problem. That's where they were able to control the crisis. But the United States find themselves in this situation because they're all fucking morons. They do whatever the fuck they want to. Everyone's doing whatever they do. The fucking Florida just barely went out and into quarantine. The governors didn't believe in this BS, even though almost like half of the population in New York is fucking dying from this. Not half of this, but a lot of people are dying and they're suffering because of this disease in New York. And then Florida was like, I don't think it's dangerous. And then later on, it's like, you know what? We're gonna quarantine ourselves. We're gonna go into self-quarantine. Everyone needs to stay in their house. 2 weeks later, after everyone had already done it, 2 weeks later, now they're going to quarantine. But this is the things that we need. This is the United States, man. We're free to do whatever the fuck we want to. But that's why we find ourselves in this situation, because everyone is at a different level of fucking. They're all in their own fucking clouds. They're all doing whatever the fuck they want to, because clearly we don't see ourselves as a whole nation together. We're just like, you know what? Let me do whatever the fuck I want to, even if it's gonna affect other people, even if other people other people's life is in the line. I may do what the fuck they want though. You saw those clips of the kids who went to fucking spring break in Florida. I was like, I don't care if I get the COVID-19, bro. I'm a party, yeah, baby. Man, we're screwed. We're screwed.